Harlequins effectively run a standard double narrow unders and overs to score underneath the post this weekend. But how did they make it look so easy? And what could Exeter have done to defend this more effectively?
Northmore's gone through, match turned on its head.
Smith's initial wide positioning keeps him away from the Exeter back row and the defensive scrum half, Maunder, who is positioned uselessly on the blind side, allowing the attacking 10 to engage and sit down his opposite man, Skinner. Anyamwu then stays square enough to engage his opposite man, the defensive 12, Witten, but arcs his run slightly to turn him in and draw him away from the unders line, but more importantly times his run perfectly to not move in front of the ball, preventing Witten from swimming off and defending two players. That then frees up the space for the blindside wing, Murley, to win the race outside the defensive 12 on the unders line of the first unders and overs, then becoming the new decision maker for the second unders and overs. Murley not only engages the defensive 13, Slade, but because of the space Witten has left behind from biting in on Anyamwu, also turns Slade in, which then leaves the defensive open side wing, Woodburn, with a decision to make. He doesn't trust his outside man to turn in on the second unders line, leaving Noel to shut the gate, and hesitates, creating the space for the attacking 13, Northmore, to take on the overs line. Murley makes the right decision and Northmore finishes superbly.
Here goes Northmore again. Northmore's gone through, match turned on its head.
Although in this phase we are focusing on the attack, Chiefs could have made their lives a whole lot easier defensively if simply Maunder left the blind side for the back row and at last ditch Noel to cover, allowing him to push onto the first receiver and the rest of the backline to drift easier, or they fully committed to their defensive system. It is something we will come on to in more detail later, but the Chiefs' backline are caught between an out-to-in pressure defence and an in-to-out contain defence. Everyone in the defensive line until Woodburn are applying an out-to-in defence to pressure Quins into making a mistake. This results in Witten tracking Anyamwu and Slade tracking Murley, and should have left Woodburn to track Northmore, leaving Hogg to force the skill from Green to get the ball away to Marchant, who has to beat Noel tracking across to finish. However, as we saw, Woodburn does not buy into this, which leaves the disconnect in the domino effect to be exploited. Alternatively, Chiefs could have opted to contain the notoriously dangerous Quins' first phase attack. This would mean that first of all, they wouldn't fly up as quickly, which would not only allow Maunder to more easily join the defensive line, but also potentially forces Quins into showing their hand by playing the shape before actually engaging the defence, unless Smith took the ball all the way to the line and Anyamwu timed his run perfectly, combining to mean that Witten could then more easily and safely drift off onto the overs line and cover Murley on the unders line as well, in turn allowing Slade to drift off and do the same, and so on and so forth down the back line until the attack was contained. We will be covering defensive strategy and tactics in a lot more detail once we have finished talking about the attack, but this is a quick insight into how important it is to buy into whatever defensive system you do inevitably pick.
Another twist in this match, and here comes another twist, and here goes Northmore again. Northmore's gone through, match turned on its head.